Okay, so here, looks like I ran it 1,000 times.
Okay.
Bet is $100. That's just left over from last time. So I do my simulation. Everybody, all the 10,000 people are starting with $1 million. So on the first coin flip, if it's 1, the money goes up, or the money goes down. But you started with $1 million. If it's bigger than 1, if it's bigger than the first turn, it's whatever your money was on the last turn, times up, times down. This one takes, I think, a little bit longer to run. But anyway, it takes 30 seconds to run. So here's the first plot. Is that on screen? Well,
Yeah.
there it is. Okay, so the first plot, I have to plot these in using log plots. So I'm doing log base 10 plots, so it starts at 10 to the 6th. So this is the average amount of money that the group has over time. And the average amount of money actually seems to be increasing.
Yeah.
Yeah, except for a little downward tick at the end.
Yeah, that's just probably a result. I needed to maybe do more simulations or
Yeah.
something like that. But it's in any case, it does look like the average amount of wealth is
Increasing.
increasing.
Yeah, which is, I mean, we saw that in the additive game, where overall the game itself is favoring the player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my 10,000 people who start with $1 million on this, the average is increasing. The average wealth is increasing, and it's actually increasing because this is a log plot. It's tremendously increasing. After 800 runs, we're up at like 10 to the 20th average average wealth.
Yeah.
So that's that's amazing. But the next plot is the median wealth, and here's where we get an intriguing surprise.
So
What is happening to the median wealth?
it's basically, I guess this isn't. Is this still log?
Yeah, this is still
Okay.
log. So it starts at 10 to the 6th. I think the reason there's two sort of separate lines is, it depends which one's in the middle. But
So it's just steadily decreasing here.
yeah, so we see the median wealth is steadily decreasing.
It's decreasing a lot. Like this, it's when it's at the 800 mark, you have basically a cent.
Right. The median person at the 1,000 mark has no money. At 700 steps, the median person, we're at 0, at 10 to the 0, they have
$1.
$1. So how do you think that could happen, that the average wealth of the group is increasing, but the median is
So
decreasing?
it's just a few people. Like if you got lucky and got like a couple positives in a row right at the beginning, you make a lot of money. Or if you get like 5 positives in a row, you make a lot of money. But if you get like 5 negatives in a row, you can't come back from that. Like you have to get so many more positives to make that up. Like we saw, you need like a positive and a negative together puts you below where you started.
Yeah. Actually, the interesting thing is it doesn't matter when those runs of positives and negatives happen. It's only
That's how many there are.
the total amount of positives and negatives that happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, and this last chart I made here was just for my particular set of runs. This is kind of an interesting chart. It's not super easy to read, but this was the total wealth. Sorry, the wealth of the maximum person divided by the total wealth of the group. And so you see occasionally in these charts up here,
You basically have the entire wealth.
that's 100%. But even after a little while, so where would 100 runs be? About here. The maximum person who started out with, there were 10,000 people, right? So and they all had the same amount of money. So in the beginning, the maximum wealth divided by the total wealth is 1/10,000th. But even after 100 runs, the maximum wealth divided by the total wealth is, the maximum person has 20% of the total wealth.
Yeah.
And then reasonably quickly, this maximum person seems to almost have all of the wealth. Or maybe the maximum 5 have almost all the wealth. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So if you play this game in a multiplicative way, if you just say, hey, this additive game we saw, dividing up my money into little pieces and then playing it with the same amount of little pieces every time, causes me to win. And also, I never lose in aggregate. Why don't I just bet everything every time? What happens then?
You lose all of your money.
Well, or you gain a tremendous amount of money.
Yeah, but with the median constantly decreasing, it means eventually everybody's going to lose. Might take a while.
Yeah.
But no matter where you are.
Over time, you will go to zero.
Yeah.
And it's not like the pool of money is fixed. Like the pool
Right.
of money is steadily decreasing.
No, the pooled money's increasing. That's the weird thing. That's why the average wealth is increasing.
Yeah.
So the total wealth divided by the number of people increases. But everybody loses eventually. Which is
Weird.
pretty hard to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So additive versus multiplicative produces very strange results sometimes.
Yeah.
All right, this is a really neat example. So we might explore this a bit more this week. But anyway, good job, guys.